Did you know country legend Johnny Cash grew up in a town built by the US government? In 1934, during the Great Depression, his family moved to Dyess, Arkansas, a New Deal farming community meant to help struggling families. Young Johnny worked the cotton fields and lived through poverty and disaster, like the flood he later sang about in 5 Feet High and Rising. Today, his childhood home, Farm Number 266, is a historic landmark preserved for generations to come. This modest home at 251 Menlove Avenue is where a young John Lennon grew up, raised not by his parents, but by his strict yet loving Aunt Mimi. After a chaotic split between his parents, Lennon found stability here. He was a rebellious teen with a dark sense of humor, often drawing grotesque cartoons and pulling pranks. But that restless energy transformed into music, and at just 16, Lennon met a boy named Paul McCartney, and history was born. In 2002, Yoko Ono bought Mendips and donated it to the National Trust. Today, fans can tour the home that helped shape a Beatle, alongside Paul's childhood house. This is 20 Forthland Road, the home where Paul McCartney grew up, and the place many call the true birthplace of the Beatles. After losing his mother at just 14, Paul found a kindred spirit in John Lennon, who had also lost his own mother. Their shared grief became the foundation of a powerful friendship and a legendary songwriting duo. Here, McCartney taught himself piano, trumpet, and Spanish guitar. He even wrote early Beatles songs like When I'm 64 inside these very walls. Now owned by the National Trust, McCartney's childhood home remains a time capsule and a stop on the ultimate Beatles pilgrimage alongside Lennon's Mendips. From heartache to harmony, history was made at 20 Forthland Road. Before Ziggy Stardust, before the Thin White Duke, there was David Robert Jones. And this humble home on Stansfield Road in Brixton is where it all began. Long before he reinvented pop music, young David was obsessed with the sounds of Elvis Presley and Little Richard. By high school, he could play the ukulele, tea-chest bass, piano, and the saxophone. Though his personas felt otherworldly, Bowie's roots were grounded right here. Yet this home has never been formally honored, only quietly visited by loyal fans over the years. From this unmarked flat in Brixton, a starman was born. In 1934, Vernon Presley borrowed $180 to build this tiny home. Less than a year later, Elvis Presley was born right here. But hard times came quickly. The Presleys couldn't keep up with payments, and the house was repossessed just a few years later. The family leaned on their relatives in Tupelo until eventually moving to Memphis, where Elvis's journey into music truly began. Today, this two-room house stands as the Elvis Presley Birthplace Landmark, part of a tour that includes a museum and the church where a young Elvis first sang. From humble beginnings in Tupelo, the king was born. This house in Freehold, New Jersey may look ordinary, but it's where Bruce Springsteen's extraordinary journey began. Raised by his doting grandmother, Nana McNicholas, Bruce's early years were filled with love, but little structure. After her passing, he returned to his parents' home, where tensions with his father shaped much of his emotional world. Music became his escape, A guitar, a dream, and a whole lot of grit helped him turn pain into poetry and gave voice to the working-class struggles of small-town America. Though he says he'd never live in Freehold again, Springsteen's roots run deep, and his childhood home sold for $255,000 in 2018. From Institute Street to rock legend, the boss was born right here